All right, you are on the potential energy quiz. So let's get started. What is potential energy? Potential energy is, I like this way of thinking about it, it is stored energy. In other words, it is energy that could be used later to do work. So what's something that has stored energy that could do work later? Something like gasoline. That has a lot of potential energy. Specifically, gasoline has chemical potential. Whoever made this image has a rocket here. So think about the rocket fuel has chemical potential energy. I have heard people say before that potential energy is in things that are not moving, but that's a bad idea because plenty of things that are moving do have potential energy. Let's go to my example that I drew up here of this roller coaster. If you're on a roller coaster and you're at the ground level, you don't have any potential energy because you can't fall from any height. You don't have any gravitational potential energy, unless I suppose a hole opened up in the ground underneath you. But as you go up on the roller coaster, as you get up to the top here, think about what would happen if you fell from that height. If you fell from that height, you'd have a large potential to damage something on the ground. If you fell from a lesser height, say right here, you'd have less potential to do work on something on the ground. So what if you're halfway down the hill? If you're halfway down the hill, you've got a mix. You've got half potential energy and half kinetic energy. Kinetic energy is the energy of motion, and potential is stored energy. So don't think of potential energy being in things that aren't moving. That's just a bad idea. Going back to whoever made this image, they've got lots of categories of potential energy. They've got gravitational and chemical that we mentioned already. Think about a tennis racket, that's elastic energy, or maybe think about a wound up or a compressed spring. Think about the energy in the nucleus of an atom, like nuclear power. Something to notice here, electrical is on here twice. How can something have both potential and kinetic? Well, if you're thinking about the electrons buzzing through a circuit, then yeah, they're moving. They have kinetic energy. But what about, let me make a sketch here. Right before a lightning strike, a big thundercloud is overhead. The bottom of the cloud has a strong negative charge, and a house that you're in, or a tall building, or a tree or something develops a positive charge. Lightning hasn't struck yet, but there is certainly the potential for lightning to strike, and that's got a lot of energy in it. So that's an example of potential or electrical potential energy. And then once the lightning does strike, then I would say that we've got current flowing, and that would be kinetic. So it's possible to be on both sides of this graphic. Let's see here. This quiz is mostly about using the gravitational potential energy equation, and here it is. PE equals mgh. So that just says potential energy is mass times gravity times height. So mass is measured in kilograms. Gravity, you remember, is meters per second, or you could write it meters per second squared. It's the same thing. And height, that's just a distance. That's meters. If you multiply those three things together, you've got kilograms. We've got meters twice here, so that's meters squared, and we've still got our seconds here. So we get kilogram meter squared per second squared. Nobody wants to write this unit. So what we did was we picked a famous dead guy and we abbreviated it as J. And this famous dead guy was James Prescott Joule. Remember that from the energy video. So why do we have, or why would I tell you about this unit anyway? Well, let's say you're taking the quiz and you're solving for M and you don't know what the unit is. Well, if we want to get m by itself, how do we get rid of a multiplied gravity and height? We divide by gravity and height. That cancels it out. But whatever you do to one side of an equality, you've got to do to both sides. So if we write the whole potential energy thing out like this, if we multiply all three of our things together, we have kilograms meters squared per second squared. That's what we had on top. That was the joules. And then on the bottom, we've got gravity and height. Gravity was meters per second squared, and then height was just meters. Well, let's look and see what we can cancel out. We've got seconds squared, that's gone. We've got meters once, and then meters twice. What's left? Kilograms, and mass is in kilograms. That shouldn't be a surprise to you guys. But if you're taking the quiz and you're not sure what a unit is, you can just multiply m times g times h and write this down and then cancel out whatever you need to. So that is my video on the potential energy quiz, which once again, you're going to get a bunch of questions about using this equation, and you're going to get some questions, or one or two questions about that graphic that was up here. There you go.